Recently, I've been working on a project around the house. I've been wanting to do this for a little bit now, where I want to have a lawnmower that I can control with a remote and drive around like the yard and everything, and then have like a modular attachment to take off the lawnmower and put on like a snowblower attachment and everything. So I'm finally starting it. I finally was like, you know what? I'm gonna order some parts, so I did it. So I'll roll the intro and then we'll get right into it. Like I said in the intro, I want to have a lawnmower or like a chassis that can have a lawnmower attachment, a snowblower attachment. We can eventually have like a trimmer or like an edger attachment and everything, and just whatever my mind wants to come up with for the yard work. You can have whatever, a snowblower, a leaf pickup thing, whatever you need. So I started recently with testing out some stuff. Across the Road Electronics has this thing called a hero board. I really didn't want to go out and buy a Robo-Rio, a radio, and all this other stuff that we do in robotics, because that's like $1,000 just to get started, and I don't really have the investment for that. So CTRE, Across the Road Electronics, I'm going to call it CTRE for short, has this thing called a hero board. It's basically just a little like Raspberry Pi, except kind of different. It has like can connectors and stuff for like more FRC, first robotics competition kind of stuff, which is what I'm used to from being in high school and stuff like that. So I'm using this as my processor, as my like kind of head honcho, brain of the entire project. And so this, you can use Visual Studio and C# to send commands to motor controllers and motors and everything like that. So here's what I've gotten started so far. I have the hero board and I have connected it to the computer. I've gotten some Visual Studio C# code on it because that's what it uses. And then I was able to actually get this motor to spin. This is a VEX Robotics 775 Pro. And basically what I did is I took a 9-volt battery. I used one of these connectors we had lying around the house, plugged it into the board, gave it power. I had a USB-A to USB-B mini going into the hero board through Visual Studio, download the code, run the program. And then I also had another 9-volt battery. I got 2 of these, by the way. And then I had another connector going from this battery, and I had that running to the input leads on the Victor SPX, which is also from VEX Robotics. It's a motor controller that you can use. So I had that plugging into there. And I don't really want to solder anything yet because this isn't even close to my final design. So I'm using one of these like screw-on like connector things for the wires, where you just screw on both wires together into this thing, and it kind of like it's like mechanical solder is what I call it. That way you can connect wires without having to like solder anything and all that stuff. And then you take your CAN wires, you plug this into the hero board where it says, which by the way, awesome job CTRE, labeling everything, super helpful. And then these are the output leads. You plug these into your 775. And then I'm using the Logitech, I believe it's the F310. It's the wired version of their controllers and everything. Using the left stick in the Y-axis, you're able to control the output of the motor with just some basic code, which is outlined in the CTRE user guide, by the way. Awesome. So that's what I've done so far, is I've gotten the motor to spin, which you would say, that's not really that much. Some of you might say that's a lot. I think it's actually quite a bit. So the next step, by the way, to this, is to take this trimmer. It's a Ryobi 2-in-1 plastic blade, and we also have the wires that the string for the trimmer. But luckily, this has a 1/2-inch hex input, which eventually I'm going to take this 775, and I'm going to get a planetary for it. So I think with like probably a 3-to-1 or like a 7-to-1, some ratio, which I'm going to figure out eventually whenever I can look on some websites to see what kind of conversion I need. A hex output into this. I think I'm going to thread the little hole through the shaft. I'm going to thread that with someone said a 1/4-20, and then put a bolt in the bottom of this, screw it in, and then we should be able to get this thing to spin. The next steps are, I'm working on the CAD model right now, so that way we can actually kind of have a more basis of where we're going to start, and I can start actually like designing stuff. I'm supposed to get, you guys have heard me talk about this, I'm supposed to get a 3D printer in August. I was supposed to have it in May, but it got delayed till August because of the whole virus and everything. So I'm waiting for that. It's also a CNC mill and a laser engraver, so I might be able to kind of get some aluminum to use as well as just plastic parts. We'll see. One of the most important things to this whole project is I actually got a engineering notebook from graduating the high school robotics team. Very nice. And so in it, I have started to actually document all of my progress in this. I've got a couple pages. Right now it's just 3, but a couple pages of documentation and everything, which I actually used before the video to know which USB cable I was using. So it's already been useful in helping me to describe stuff. But that's about it for where I've started out for this lawnmower project. The goal, again, is to have something I can drive around the house and just have something to play with and have fun with and improve my engineering skills and maybe even get a job somewhere, whether it's for filmmaking, engineering, I don't know, maybe it combines both of them somehow that I don't know about in the future. We'll see. But that's been episode 1 of the robotic lawnmower documentary series, my documentation engineering notebook thingamajig. So thank you very much for watching. By the way, if you're a video person, I am editing this into a 2:1 aspect ratio, so it's gonna be a little bit wider. And I finally actually got a iPhone XS and everything, so it should look super good on the new iPhones being super wide and everything. We'll see how it looks. Let me know in the comments how you guys like it. But other than that, stay tuned for episode 2 of this. Whenever I move along in the progress, I'm going to try and get better at documenting stuff, and we'll see how everything goes. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Have a great day.